All right, welcome to the Car podcast.
Yeah, it's been a little while, hasn't it?
It's been ages, but with the effects of video editing and all that sort of stuff, we're going to make it seem like it's seamless.
Yeah,
and
we
only did the last one.
We never left you,
minutes
you know?
ago. Yeah. We never left. Over the last little while, I guess we've been hard at work, but we've also I've gone to Japan as well, and got to see some cool things over there. I didn't spend too much time checking out cars, unfortunately.
No, I heard you didn't get to really do anything, but was it a nice break from doing car stuff anyway?
It was a great break, and covered a lot of ground. Still saw some cool cars. You know, when you're over in Japan, those guys are wild about their key cars and little white box cars that they put, bits and pieces on, stickers and neons and whatnot.
Because I went a few months before you, the first day we were in there proper, we saw two absolutely slammed out chasers.
Oh wow!
Rolling around the street on a weekday together.
Yeah, where was that?
That was, maybe it was Kanazawa.
Yep.
Which is like west side, main island, so like sort of a little bit north Tokyo and hard to the west.
Okay, yeah.
Where'd you get off to?
Oh man, we covered some ground. We did Tokyo, Hiroshima, Kyoto, Osaka. So, but I say covered a bit of ground. We did that in a short time frame, so we're always on the move.
Yeah, and on the bullet trains as well.
We did that. Yeah, we did a Hello Kitty bullet train.
Yeah, I did that too. That was incredible.
Yeah. So we did that, and you know what? Probably the wildest car I saw was a RAV4, but it was done up like it was from anime or something like that. Had all the. I'll see if I can find a photo and throw it up.
It was the weirdest things that we saw were usually when we weren't looking for them either. Because I saw there was two that really stuck out to me. It was an ND MX-5 Miata.
Nice.
Like Ross's.
Yep.
But it was all yellow with some like yellow neons in the inside and a little light up Pikachu on the interior.
Of course.
And a Pikachu tail on it.
So that's cool.
Yeah, that was incredible. And then we went, on our last day, we went to go through Ginza, which is like the ritzy sort of area. They have like a Nissan museum.
I was just about to say, did you check out the Nissan? Yeah.
R33 GTR Le Mans.
Oh, wow, okay.
With the single Centerlock wheels and the full fiberglass body kit.
That's cool.
And let me tell you, like, from 3 feet away, it looked rat shit.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So bad.
It's lived a rough life.
The fiberglass had like little hairline cracks in it, and it looked like a proper race car.
That's normal. Yeah. They had the original GTR there when I went.
The Hakosuka.
Hakosuka,
Yeah, because they went from the Hako to the Ken Mary.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a
C10.
clue. Yeah.
You know why they called that the Ken Mary?
No, tell me.
They had some lifestyle advertising at the time, which featured a guy named Ken and a lady named Mary. And it just became the sort of like...
That's a car name from there on in.
Yeah, very weird part of automotive history.
There you go. But yeah, even for their era, they're extremely advanced cars back then. And they are, well, I suppose it's been a while since they released the R35, but they've always been leading in technology. So they're amazing cars.
Interested with the shift from the 370 to the Z, the new Z.
New Z, yep.
Not sure. I'd like to test drive one, but I've driven a couple of the 370s and it just doesn't feel my personality yet.
Right, okay. The 370 doesn't feel your personality?
No, it doesn't.
But you haven't driven the new one yet?
I'd like to drive the 400C. I find the 370 that I've driven feels a little twitchy.
Okay.
Just like the front and the back don't 100% have cohesion with what they're doing.
I think just on paper that they're like a massively underrated car because you're getting a reasonable size engine, you're getting rear wheel drive, and then their second-hand prices are pretty good. Yeah. 350, 370s.
No, I do agree. And I think there's a lot of potential in them. I just, for some reason, the one that
the balance wasn't right.
Yeah, I think it'd be sorted with some, I think probably what it wants, and it might just be like my driving style versus someone else's. It's just a little bit of rigidity right in the middle of the chassis and a little bit of rigidity in the like a sway bar in the rear.
In the rear, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I also
Help you drift as well, hey?
yeah, probably. I like a car that that's sort of flat and squats at the back.
Yep.
That makes me comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to hear. Yeah, the feedback when you drive a 400. They, to my eye, they look closer to like a 240, which I like. I like the look.
Yep. I saw one in a showroom the other day.
Oh, yep.
Not looking forward to working on it.
Access.
Packed in tighter than you wouldn't believe.
Yep.
You got a whole bunch of news.
Look, I got a couple of things, and Mercedes has come out with a replacement. It's I suppose it's a bit of a refresh of the G63 AMG.
Yeah.
And the good news is that it's the exact same price as the outgoing model. So inflation's solved. You bring interest rates down. It's Mercedes have solved it for us.
Yeah, we've got the threat of a tariff has fixed the automotive industry.
Yeah, we'll see how that all pans out. But so yeah, just at the small cost of $368,000 plus on roads.
Sure, they could afford to keep it at roughly the same price. They changed two things on it.
Yeah.
Called it a refresh and sold it for the same price.
So the specs, I mean, these are cool cars. The specs on it, it's got a 4-litre twin turbo V8 doing 430 kilowatts and 850 newtons. So it's under 1,000 newton meters. I'd be a little bit annoyed if I was an AMG person.
Is that because you said it's mild hybrid? Is that before or after the mild hybrid?
Okay, well that's a good question. I'm not too sure. I think the hybrid would add on top of that.
Because if it's 850 newtons before, you got a little spec down here.
Yeah, 200 with the hybrid. So it's got a mild hybrid system, and that adds an extra 15 kilowatts and 200 newtons. So that'd get you over that 1,000
newton meters.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, but only just. And look, if I've got a G63 AMG and I want to go camping, and I'm towing my caravan up the range, I want to be clear on 1,000 newton meters pretty clear.
Yeah, if you're going to burn that much fuel to just like tow a dinky little caravan around, I definitely want over 1,000 newton meters all the time. That's a good question though. What car for the least amount of money could you get over 1,000 newton meters in?
Geez, I don't know, a Barra. Something with a Barra in it.
I think 4J, like mid 2000s, Holden Rodeo diesel.
Oh, okay. Yep. So
I think
wind the wick up on those.
Tuned that, or it's got to be diesel. I think that's it.
Yep, that's good
or some farm truck from the 80s.
Yeah. That's just oozing in it. Yeah, nice. Okay, well that's a good thought. There are some extra trim packs. So if you've got some change after the 368,000 plus on roads, you can spend a little bit more money and you can spend just shy of 20 grand to add a carbon fiber trim pack, which is a carbon fiber cover over your spare wheel, your underguards front and rear. You wouldn't want to bump those bad boys.
No, you wouldn't.
And a steering wheel insert as well. So 20 grand, you get those things.
Okay.
And then you can add because you're buying an AMG G63.
Yep.
Of course you're going to buy the superior interior pack.
I'm surprised that they don't just call them. They haven't just put together a Maybach pack.
Maybe that's to come. That's another one.
Like Landaulet. I'd like to see the convertible G63 Maybach.
Oh wow, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the old Daihatsu Rockies that you can get in convertible as well. Were there no, maybe not the Rockies. The other model they did.
First gen RAV4 as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of ridiculously priced option packages, I priced a set of carbon ceramic front brakes for a TTRS the other day.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because a mechanic mate of mine has a Golf R that someone has swapped 380mm TTRS front pads and rotors on.
Oh, okay, yep.
The regular stuff wasn't bad. It was bad, but it wasn't bad.
Yep.
But the carbon ceramic front pads and rotors for a TTRS cost price to us was $26,000.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Jeez.
before markup or fitting.
Yeah.
I think the list price on each rotor, the recommended retail, was $14,200.
Wow, that's pretty significant.
Yeah,
that's a commitment to braking.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But
That's what I call braking good.
Don't have to replace them ever.
You say for life, almost. Well, you'll extra long life out of there.
But
what about the pads?
I think they must have been about $2,500 a set or $3,000 a set.
Yep. And do you churn through those?
I'm sure you do.
100%
sure you do.
Yep. Cool. Okay.
And all that for an Audi. But yeah,
we like all cars equally here now.
Oh yeah,
just kidding. I love Audis and VWs. I mean, they look great in my rear view mirror.
Yep. They look great broken down on the side of the road. So $17,700 gets you 3 pieces of carbon fiber.
Yep, and the superior interior pack, which is leather all over the interior, some chrome air vents, and some ambient lighting, which might be like that Maybach sort of features. They do the star lighting in the Maybachs, don't they? I'm not sure what ambient lighting means, but more extra lighting in there, and that's just a bit under 15 grand. And then you got the AMG Performance Pack, which gets you on 22s, gets you ride control suspension, hydraulic stabilizers, and drops the 0 to 100 from 4.4 to 4.3.
So it's a tune kit and some nice... You know what?
Suspension's probably...
If those 22s are those gaudy mid-2000s chrome ones...
Oh, yep.
Like full sec spec 22s with chrome, I want that. That's for me.
Your pro sec spec?
Pro sec spec.
Okay,
Bring it back.
Nice. It's coming back. Back. And speed limit raised. So it's got a speed limit at 220 and it raises it to 240. So it must be all around the suspension that they feel comfortable bringing up an extra 20 Ks.
I think, it's either suspension or willingness to pay.
It's unlock. We've spoken about this in previous episodes where you've got a car that's capable of doing all these things and you pay for the unlockability of the next level.
I just don't know if I would ever want to go past 200 kilometers an hour in a G-Wagon.
That's a fast brick.
I just I know it's a Mercedes and all that. It's still a big SUV. It's still G-Wagons up until current series. They're still body on frame. It's not a car that's a chassis setup that's meant to do that kind of speed. So I just don't know if I'd want to be going that fast in one.
No. And tell me, would you want to be going that fast in your Volvo?
Yep.
4-wheel
disc brakes.
Safest car out.
Safest car ever made.
Before it's zero.
I guess that's a second question. If you're down below in the comments, what is the car that you would least like to go over 200 kilometers an hour in?
Okay, all right. I can think of mine straight away.
I've got 2.
You got 2?
Yep.
I think one of the Ladas.
Yep.
I think that car would just all the panels would start sort of flying off and you'd just be sitting there on a frame with a wheel at the end of it.
Yep.
What's yours?
I think Suzuki Samurai.
Samurai? I didn't even know that one.
Or
sounds cool though. That sounds
Sierra,
like a car that could go that fast.
The early Sierras.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I drove an early Sierra, and above 60, it felt like
it's shaken.
It wasn't shaken. It was was not ready for that. So early Sierra with a soft top.
Oh yeah.
I'd be so scared.
They'd be making some noises. Oh dear. Well, and there's more accessories you can add on there. So once you add all these accessories on the Mercedes G-Wagon, you're getting close to $500,000.
Yeah.
I'm sure once you add it on roads and whatever, you'll be getting close to it. But there's another car that's coming out as well. I call it a car. They're calling it a flying car.
Yeah. You call it what you want.
Yeah.
It's yet to be classified.
Yeah, I think they're just doing that for the headlines. It is the XPeng X2. And you get these DJI quadcopter thingies that you remote control. It's like that, but it's got a car cabin on it.
I've seen a lot of manufacturers seem to be jumping towards this, like, because we've gone through a really strange cycle with the future of cars at the moment, where, like, 3 or 4 years ago, everyone said all electric 2030.
Yep.
And now they're walking back on that, and Porsche's promised that they're going to reintroduce internal combustion or keep internal combustion for a few of the models.
They've been holding the candle for for
Toyota's
internal
the same.
combustion. Toyota, yep. I think so. Toyota, from what I've read, is they populate a lot of markets that just don't have the infrastructure for battery charging and all that sort of stuff, so they have to.
But it's really strange because we went through that everything will be EV, and then we left turned back into internal combustion. And split off into a fork where almost every manufacturer's got some sort of partnership with a flying taxi quadcopter.
Okay, all right, that's the next thing.
So,
I mean, they've been talking about it for years, pre-electric. They've been talking about.
What do they have? Back to the Future.
Jetsons, Back to the Future. Yeah, that's right. I remember old Popular Mechanics magazines talking about it back in like the 80s, 90s.
You're not that old, are you?
Nah, I'm dating myself, hey?
Flatter you.
Yeah, so I mean, it could be a thing. I mean, this flying car, it's only got a range of 75 k's or half an hour.
Yep.
So you know, if that's enough for you, that's great. Top speed 130 k's an hour and altitude limit of 500 meters, which I don't know, to me that sounds like a pretty decent amount, but I'm sure they'll increase over as generations come through.
I think that, so the couple of podcasts that I've been listening to that talk about this occasionally have talked about the use cases, and while like it may not be a good idea for you or I to own one to get to work, think about if you are based in like Brisbane City, and because city to airport is only a painful drive in traffic. But if you could pay like an Uber fee to get in a quadcopter with 2 other people in your luggage. And be there in
no time.
So I think there are a couple of use cases for these things.
Or like say if you're out on a night and you're at Birdie's or something like that, and then you're on a whip down to the Vic, you can just jump in a quadcopter and
I'd love it if they do the like Tom Cruise Mission Impossible. When you get there, you've got to abseil out of it.
That'd be cool. I like that idea.
There's nothing better than the picture of that on a drunk night having to abseil out of your taxi.
I like it. So look, these guys, they're already selling them in other countries in Europe, and it seems like the yachting market is buying them, so they can go from boat to island or whatever it is they do. And they're expecting to sell them in Australia, although it's still waiting for CASA approval and all that sort of stuff, to farmers. Apparently, it's cheaper to buy one of these than it is to replace an engine on a helicopter. Okay.
And then you can do your crop dusting and such, or your herding.
Whatever it is you do for half an hour while you got battery.
Strange.
So I mean, if it works for them, that's great. It's like 200k. It's worth about 200k.
I'm definitely a skeptic on all of these things.
I'll believe it when I see one hover by me. But it's going to happen. One day. Maybe in our lifetime.
The podcast that I listened to, The Smoking Tire, or one of the podcasts I listened to, they were doing a story on one of these for Road and Track or Car and Driver or something like that. And they were going to send Matt Farah to do it. 200-pound weight limit.
And what does Matt Farah weigh? He's a bit over
60. So that's one thing that's like, and I think we've seen also with the EV cars. Anytime that you add weight to them, the range and the efficiency goes down drastically. Because wasn't that the story with the Ford Lightning, F-150 Lightning when it came out? It was it was getting close to hitting its range until you put a trailer on the back of it.
Oh yeah, they're not really built for towing. That's where your diesels
No.
come in. Not at this stage, unless they have a breakthrough with battery technology or something.
But there is. I'll tell you another time. There's a very interesting trailer company that's got some technology about that.
Okay.
Range extending trailers.
I know. Like in the mining industry, you can get trailers that have some I'm not sure if it's electric or not. Probably is these days, but they would have some sort of ability to drive themselves as well. So yeah, there's
just replace the truck entirely. Just a self-driving trailer.
Pretty much, yeah. There's things like this similar to that out there. So technology's there. It's just I suppose getting the approvals off on the road and all that sort of stuff.
All this stuff. It seems like the use case needs to be sorted out better.
Yeah, and look, like you were saying, some of these manufacturers, they're actually reneging on these promises that they were making about, they would go all electric by 2028. I forgot who it was that I read recently had reneged on that 2028 goal that they had set.
Well, it's almost all of them now, which is...
So it's happening, yeah, and I think they're...
Except for... one of our favourite British manufacturers, which have promised to go all electric.
I think I know where you're going with this one. And who's this, Lachlan?
It's Jaguar. I just don't know.
Your favourite?
I worked for a Jag dealership when I was an apprentice.
Yeah.
Jag Land Rover, and the reliability concerns were real. But like they were a cool car. Like that old the Top Gear faux pas where like ballers drive Jaguars. It seems to be somewhat the truth.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because you still, even today, you see someone in an XKR, the like long low two-door coupe with the V8 in the front.
Yeah, cool car.
All that sort of stuff. You know that person doesn't give a damn. They're just living their best life.
They're balled out and they're extremely patient because the car's always at the mechanic.
Exactly. Yep. That is a person you want to be your friend, but you want to hide your cutlery from.
Yeah.
They're going home with your knife set.
Oh, dear.
But Jaguar Rebrand.
Yeah, so have they got rid of the Jaguar itself?
Yes, I think so. And they've gone for that weird gold beige circular logo with the J and the R on it.
Yeah, it looks like a thing from a superhero that have on their chest. It
looks like a very fancy coffee machine brand.
Ah, there you go.
Right? And new text-based logo, the one is a little bit strange. I don't mind it necessarily. But their advertising, they have failed to show a car at all. They took all the cars off their website.
Oh, really? Yeah. We're a lifestyle company, not a car company.
Yeah, something like that. And all of their branding now says like, be creative, think different. It was basically, it looks like a haute couture, like high fashion.
Okay. Right.
High fashion ad is basically what they were.
So after seeing this, when you think high fashion, you think Jaguar? Has it worked yet?
Honestly, I actually we all know that Peugeot used to make pepper mills.
No.
Citroen made bicycles. I think the play for Jaguar now is to swoop straight in and compete with Chanel and Louis Vuitton. Jaguar themed jackets, that's for me.
Not a crazy idea.
Yeah.
Because Ferrari's already doing it. They probably make more money on those sort of things than they do on the cars.
Yeah. But no, so Jaguar Rebrand didn't show a car. Everyone seems to hate the logos. I'm not sure if I hate the logos yet. Took all their current car lineup off of their website, apparently, and have promised that all of the new stuff that they're going to release is EV.
Okay, all right. They've played their cards. So, okay, so if you were going to have a high fashion car, what features would it have?
Oh, you know those that thing that all high fashion companies do, where every once in a while they'll have like a tulle tutu sort of thing.
A tutu?
Yeah, I want the car to have a button that lets you have like a
A 2-2 pops out.
2-2 pops
It's
out.
very James Bondish, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, James Bond car, Jaguar.
Yeah, there
The
you go.
car's in
With a 2-2.
disguise.
And it's fashion, not function. So you got all these cool buttons to do different things.
Yep.
But the fashionable things.
Yeah. It doesn't turn the air conditioning on, but it does open all the windows and make you a coffee. And then
Coffee
it's
built
called
in,
al
yes.
fresco mode.
Ah, cool. All right, that's a good idea. You know what I saw the other day, and this takes me back, 15 years, I reckon. A car with those stick-on eyelashes.
Oh, I hate those so much.
Maybe the Jaguar would have those, and they'd sort of pop out the same way your 2-2 pops out.
Yep. Instead of wiper blades, it just has one like eyelashes that pop out.
And the eyelashes go doo-doo-doo.
Yep.
Or maybe a Dyson pops out and water sheaths it off or something like that.
There's so many. Look, we can make as much fun of it as you like, but I genuinely I hate the rebrand, and I think Jaguar is probably going to fail massively about doing it. However, the potential to become like the high fashion car brand, because it doesn't really exist out there. We have car brands that do the most expensive cars, and we have car brands that do the fastest cars. We have car brands that do economy cars and off-road and all that stuff. But no one does like an upmarket lifestyle. Think back to the 2000s when the Refresh Mini came out.
Yep.
That was the high fashion car at the time. And
mid-fashion.
Well,
but it was fashionable,
yeah. For a time,
Yeah,
everyone wanted to be seen in a Mini.
Yep.
So even your movie stars and such had Minis. So that is a segment of the market which is not cared for.
If they did what do you call it? They re-released the E-Type, that would and did a good job of it. That would be cool.
They did.
They did.
Yeah. So in the mean, this is something I saw. Jaguar, at the same time as pulling off all the cars off of their website and doing this big rebrand stuff, Jaguar Classic has announced that they have built 2 brand new E-Types.
Yep, and stamped with numbers and all that sort of stuff.
VIN numbered,
that's cool.
everything.
Yep.
So we'll see.
We'll see. Yep. All right. Watch this space.
Yeah,
could be great. Could be average. There's one thing that I was always told is that fashions come and go, but style is forever.
Exactly. I think that's true.
We'll see what happens. All right. What else have we got?
I think we're on to your couple of products that you've got
All right.
today.
Some products. Cool. So I'm going to start with the Salt Shift, because it's the biggest box here. This is the Underbody Blaster by Salt Shift. And if you can see this picture, there, what it is after you go on the on the beach or something like that, and you want to give your Forbia a clean underneath, you hook this up to your pressure washer, and you can just roll it in there, and it's going to pressure wash the underneath of your car. It sounds like it's simple, but they're the only ones doing it that I'm aware of.
Or doing it well, at least.
Doing it well. It's got nice big wheels, so you're not going to get stuck on things.
Yeah.
This is the second generation of it, so it's actually more ergonomic than what it was before. And I've got a good name for it. I call it the Bush Bidet.
Yep.
To clean your underneaths.
I think you should follow through with that name. Next time you go camping, give it a
go. Might blow me a new one.
Look, I think that these products are awesome. I've seen one recently where you can clip it into the chassis rail and blast out the chassis rail.
These guys do that
That's
as
the
well.
same one?
Yep.
I don't know 100% about that one yet. But I think everyone needs to focus a lot more, especially the four-wheel drive community, needs to focus a lot more on cleaning their cars after they go bush.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing for me that I would probably note for your four-wheel driving community is take your... do one round of this, then for the love of God, take off your under trays and do another round.
Yeah, good place to hide all
the amount of times that I get under a car that looks otherwise clean, drop the under trays, and half the outback has turned into clay and falls on my face. That's a big no-no for me.
And especially if you're not wearing glasses or something like that, so annoying.
The other thing that bothers me through and through, and that gives you an opportunity to do, is as soon as that red clay is on top of the under tray, all the under tray bolts are rusting. Right?
Yep.
So all of a sudden they become very, very difficult to remove. So take the under tray off, clean the under tray, clean the underside of the engine properly.
Yep.
And then add a little bit of an anti-seize compound to those bolts.
Good idea. Yep.
The only other thing that I would like to mention around that, and especially with under trays, is the aftermarket brands.
Yep.
Have those like slide-in insert nuts on the like metal tabs.
Right. Yep.
As soon as they rust, as soon as they get a little bit of rust on them, the nut will spin in the chassis and break off the tabs, so you can never get them out again.
Oh no! Yeah,
So
that's annoying.
That's the reason to do that.
So you've got a nice, underbody protection, but you've got a cheap part that basically eventually will ruin the whole thing.
Yeah, and it doesn't ruin the effectiveness.
Yep.
But it does mean that when either yourself or a mechanic comes along and needs to take that off, you are going to be in for a world of trouble.
Yeah.
So,
yep. Something to look out for.
Great product. I 100% support this as a recommendation.
And look, they've been generous. They come with all the popular fittings. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different fittings there for your pressure washer. And the kit goes in a small box like this, but there's multiple parts, and you put it all together, and away you go.
Yep. Have you got a good brand of degreaser that you like at work as well?
With degreaser, we sell a lot of the aerosol sort of cans. That's a big seller.
Is it CT18, the truck wash sort of stuff?
Truck wash, yeah, we do the CT18 truck wash. You can get CT20, which has got a bit of wax in it. And then the other popular one is I'm just trying to remember the name of it. There's you can buy in bulk pack, but it's really strong. I'm going to Google it.
Maybe we can get it pasted over the top.
Yeah. You keep talking, and I'll see if I can find it in the meantime.
So, I think CT18 under the on the underbody, something like that.
Yep.
And then actually a little bit of spray wax or degreaser, or Ammo's just come to Australia, Ammo NYC.
Yep.
So maybe even their underbody degreaser or something like that.
You can get Kenko is the brand, and they do a couple of different products. So they do a normal degreaser. So that's a very, very strong product, and that one's in liquid form, 5 litre, but it's extremely strong. And then they do another one as well.
Or even snow foam. Just a little bit of snow foam. Just a little bit to like help loosen that dust.
And the foam's good because it gives dwell time to the product, so it can work a bit longer.
Yeah.
So that's worth considering.
And then a little bit of underbody spray, like I'm sure Penrite does like fish oil every now and then.
Yep,
that helps.
Yep, there's different types of fish oils, and these guys will have product range as well.
Yep.
And we also sell Salty Captain, so they've got a range for this as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go and see in store. If you are looking for a good product for the anti-seize, go and see Matt and ask for Copper Sneeze.
Yep.
The Penrite Copperies stuff.
Yep. Good stuff.
But be careful with that; it goes everywhere.
Right.
Turns everything into a glitter bomb. You only need a.
Use sparingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wipe the smallest dab on the tip of the bolt and hope for the best, because otherwise it will end up everywhere and it doesn't come out.
Well, that shows that it works. Now, there's a fly flying around, so if you see me doing some kung fu moves, that's me trying to.
You haven't got a pair of chopsticks?
No, just these bad boys.
Well, you want to move on to that?
Yeah, let's do it, man. You've brought some of your tools along.
So I thought I'd show off some of the
cool stuff.
Some of the stuff that that Matt sells that I use every day, and my reasons for them. So SP makes a double long set of ring spanners.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've got Blue Point double ratchet end, whatever. I've got Blue Point and snap-on spanners. I've got all that stuff. One of these is, a set of these is the same price, roughly, as one big snap-on spanner.
Yep. And a set of those in the SP range, I think it's got 4.
Yep.
And then they're double-ended.
Covers like most of the sizes. But your 22-24 and your 21-23 sizes, those are common diff plug sizes.
Handy.
Gives you a very good feeling. 22-24 and 21-23 alongside an 18 or a 19 are also the common suspension sizes.
Gotcha.
So if you don't want to damage your ratchet, you want a little bit of extra reach so you can make sure that something's tight, but you still need to get into a shallow access space that you can't get a ratchet. Those are awesome.
And the SP one is really nice quality gear. So if you look on there, they don't sort of bell in as much as some of the other brands, so you can get a grab on
I've tried
a lot of things out there.
I've tried a new, what do they call it? Super shallow pass-through electric ratchet from a very noteworthy name brand. And it wants to skip off the bolts a little bit, and it's annoying me a little bit. They'll remain unnamed.
Okay.
But they're bright red.
There you go.
The only thing I would say with the SP ones, and it's either something that I want to do myself, or that SP will eventually do, is the bar stock that they use is a little bit too square and aggressive. So I would recommend either hitting that with a longer belt sander, just to make the edges a little bit more round. Or when you're trying to rip on it hard, wrap a rag around it.
There you go. So when you bust your knuckles with these bad boys, they got the angles on there to really bust them.
But even just pulling on them hard, because they got a little bit of a ridge, they can, if you use them all the time, they can start to hurt a little bit.
So there you go. Don't pull on your tool too hard.
That's
what else
horrible.
have you got?
I've swapped out my wire strippers.
Cool. These look fancy.
Yeah, these are awesome. Now, I found out that you sell Knipex or Knipex or Knipex or the German brand. I was shocked to find out that you sell these.
Oh, well, we don't sell many of them, but we do sell them. So I believe Trident, which you probably see lots of Trident in the store, wiper blades, thermostats, those sort of items. They also import this sort of gear. So we've got access to the range. You'll probably see us sell some of their pliers and stuff like that from time to time. Now,
Knipex pliers, my favourite brand. I've just bought these in to show. But the side cutters, I've had a pair of their side cutters since I was a first year. And I've never had to replace them. I've got 2 pairs of their Cobra Lock adjustable multi-grips. Love them to bits. There's actually
they're nice product.
The Knipex demonstration on those is because they get tighter if you push down on them. So the Knipex demonstration is a guy sits them on like a rod and then stands on them without holding the jaws closed.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
No, look at that.
Go for it. So these are a wire stripper, replaceable blades, adjustable tension, and adjustable depth.
That's cool. So if you can see on there, see it's got a little wire cutter there as well on the top. Sometimes that's you don't notice that. Made in Germany, there you go. So that's pretty cool. And then here's your adjustments there and there. So it's just so quick and easy. Just pop a wire in there and away you go.
And I've switched.
It makes life so easy.
I've switched from inline splicing with solder to inline splicing with heat shrinkable connectors. So when I go in to do a whole bunch of splices, like wire joints, I cut the wire, strip like that, and then I put a, you do Narva stuff as well. Narva does a heat shrinkable set of the straight connectors.
Yep. With a bit of solder in it?
No, not the ones with the solder.
Okay,
They're straight crimps.
Okay, yep.
So I just put my 2 wires on one side, one on the other.
Gotcha.
Crimp it together and heat shrink it.
And that seals it off. That's beautiful. Yep.
And it's
good idea.
Apparently a stronger bond than soldering.
Okay.
So
great idea.
I love all of that stuff. Knipex, buy once, buy right. If you plan to use a tool more than 4 or 5 times, just go and do it.
If you're doing electrical work, that's going to be your favourite tool.
Honestly, I've had the other style of with the jaws at the top.
Yep, I know one.
Yep,
the popular one. Yep.
I had them. They worked for a few times, and then they sort of just stopped working really effectively. And it made every time I used them heartbreaking. The last thing the last thing that I bought is a new 74410. I think is part.
Oh, you got a good memory. I wouldn't have a clue what it is. It's probably written on there.
Is it? 71440.
Ah, there you go.
Other way around.
You're slipping with your old age.
Narva pen light. I love it. No comments. USB-C rechargeable.
That's cool. That's cool. It's
it's
common recharging sort of protocol that they got on there, and that's their part of their ALS range, which is just a good light range altogether. But it's got a couple of functions on there.
Yep, it's got a pen light at the end. It's got a flood on with 2 settings on the front. It's magnetic, which is great.
And you're telling me you get maybe half a day out of that one?
I get half a day or a day of like hard use. But it recharges in the sake of an hour or 2, so no stress
between
there.
jobs you can charge her up,
but it's also shockingly bright.
That's really bright. Yeah,
and it's way too bright.
Yeah.
And the flood as well. It will really light up your life.
That's cool. Can I show you my torch?
Yeah, go for it. I was wondering about that.
Yeah. So it's funny. Some of the more expensive brands or upper market brands have come out with these, but this is a PKTool one. Their prices, they're so cheap, and they look exactly the same as some of the upper brands out there. Yeah. And you just slap this bad boy on your head. Hang on, there we go. And there's even a button here to turn it on, turn it off.
Yeah, that's kind of good.
So you don't have to worry about holding.
I looked right at that for a second.
Yeah, sorry, mate. You don't have to worry about holding your torch, and then also has a spot. So probably not as bright as that one, but it's handy just having on your head anyway.
Yeah, I have tried hand torches, headband torches a number of times.
Yep.
They're not for me because I get a little bit too messy and shit. But they are a good thing to have, especially for the home gamer.
Yeah, I find it handy. The things I don't like about it is with this against your head, it's pretty hot, particularly at the moment.
Put a hat on.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a hat, so it gets hot and sweaty. So that's annoying me.
Maybe that's a hairline problem.
Yeah, yes, direct contact to the skull. So, and the battery. I just wish the battery lasted a bit longer. Yeah, you might get a couple of hours out of it, but
that's my wish with this as well.
Yeah,
but
more battery.
It's USB-C rechargeable as well.
USB, yep,
So
USB-C rechargeable.
One cable. You've got an Android phone, Narva's pen light, that. Everything, which is what it should be.
Yeah, so these are, I think these are a no-brainer. They're that cheap that you just pick one up and it's just handy to have in your arsenal of lights.
The only other thing I wanted to talk about, and it's just because I had to buy, I made a faux pas the other day. I pulled out my welder for the first time in ages.
Yeehaw.
And left my old set of Sunnies sitting on the bench in front of it, and it splattered all over them.
Yeah.
So I stopped past a safety shop and picked up these. These are, what do they call them? Safe style. But they were $65.
Yep.
Cheap enough. They're polarized. UV, and safety rated.
Yeah, awesome.
Nothing more to say.
They look good. I mean, I'd be wearing those every day.
Yeah.
And safety rated as well, so you don't have to worry about changing out and having the right,
It'd be
right kit.
lovely if that's something you can get in the future.
Yeah, no, we'll look into it. That's cool. That's something that we would use as well. And then you've got your earbuds there.
I did. And again, this is not something that you sell.
No, I don't sell these, but I could see people going to like the drags or the races or whatever using these.
These are they're loop earbuds.
Yep.
They are rated at a 25 decibel drop.
Nice.
And they're adjustable.
Awesome. So how does the adjustment work?
So they've got a little switch on the side. You just wind when they're in your ear, you wind the switch forward or back.
Yep.
They get like more pass through or less pass through. But we've worked on a couple of very noisy cars.
Yep.
And having ear protection in, especially like if you're using an impact rattle gun, or if you're working on a particularly noisy car.
Yeah, or bashing metal to metal or something like that.
Exactly. Yep. These are great because they can either live on your keychain or in your pocket or whatever.
Yeah, that's tiny, good packaging.
Or you pop them in your ears. You barely know that they're there.
Open them up, and you can still hear people talking.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then you go to bang on the metal or whatever. You put your sunglasses on and your earbuds in, and you're good to go.
Can I show the
go
audience? Yeah, I just want to show you these.
Sure.
So, just looking at them, they look like your Beats by Dre or something like that.
I do,
but they've got a little adjustment on the back end.
I'm sure we can get a photo up as well.
Yeah, Loop is the name. So
the one thing I do wish, and maybe down the road for them, that they could do music as well. But yeah, I would buy these again, and I would buy these again.
Yeah, no.
Actually, all the stuff that I've bought, and it's all stuff that you sell, buy those two, is stuff that I would buy again without thinking.
Yeah.
Like if that broke tomorrow, I would just go and buy a new one.
Replace it.
Actually, the one thing that I have done with this light, which I would recommend if you're going to use it, is I took my triangle-shaped file and filed a notch on the front and the side. So if I...
yeah, you do too. There you go.
If I'm in a particularly tight space and I need two hands...
Okay, that's your bite tool.
Yeah, so... because the old style one was a little bit softer or had a little bit squarer tip on it.
I heard the old one was strawberry flavoured as well.
Yeah, just like a jewel.
Yeah.
It was a vape pod.
Vape.
All right,
cool.
We move on to the last thing?
Yeah, the last thing. So we're coming into summer.
Yep.
Things are getting hot, and so are our cars. So I think we've done an episode talking about these things before, and we may have covered that one. But I don't think we've spoken about this one before. So you've got a bit of experience in using this one, so I'll let you explain it.
There's a lot of science behind it, and the science says that coolant is a less effective coolant than water.
Okay.
But the reason that we want to use coolant in our cars is because it prevents corrosion and it does a whole bunch of like little things like that.
Yep.
It
stops it from freezing.
It increases the boiling temperature.
Yep.
And it decreases the freezing temperature.
Yep.
And prevents corrosion. However, ether glycol, whatever it is, standard coolant is super slippery. So you're no longer allowed to run it on racetracks, and it's not as effective of a coolant as straight water. However, you can't really run straight water in a car.
No, corrosion.
Penrite and a whole bunch of other brands have, I don't know what it's made out of, but it's a race coolant inhibitor or a race corrosion inhibitor.
Okay.
It basically acts like the corrosion preventer in your standard coolants. Yep. But it's not ethyl glycol based.
Yeah, so it's a type B non-glycol based coolant.
Yeah, so would you say type B non-glycol based?
Non-glycol, yep.
It does the same thing as coolant. It's probably slightly more effective at keeping a car cool, and you are allowed to run that if you go to track days.
Cool. So, for performance cars, for older cars, for
Just old, I'd say.
race things that you take to the racetrack, so your go-karts and all, go-karting community would be using this one.
Actually, the go-karting community might, but I think the go-karting community in particular, or at least when I knew more about it, was using a lot more of the WaterWetter. Now, this stuff's super interesting. Do you sell this stuff at work? Yep.
So there's Red Line WaterWetter, and it's like an additive you add into your coolant. Or your...
What do they say? 50... Sorry. Use 1 ounce per quart. So 3 to 4 capfuls of that per about 1 litre. So maybe like...
Yeah, a little goes a long way.
Maybe half of this bottle will do irregular cooling system. And it's got a chart on the back that says its claimed outcome. So it runs up to 20 degrees Fahrenheit cooler. There's nothing more to say about it. It's basically... It's a chemical reaction that somehow makes the water more efficient at soaking up heat and then transferring it to the radiator. It's
a great idea, and you know, why not do it? It's something, you know, when your car is overheating, you'll try anything to bring the temperature down. And we've recently done both of these on one of my cars, and that stuff there, I mean, it's early days, but just put that in and it's looking fantastic.
You're seeing your temperature has dropped from about, because it's in imperial metric. I'll measure in anything but Celsius units. And it used to be running at about 200 Fahrenheit to maybe like 210. Which is very,
it was getting
very
hot.
warm. We've popped this in today, and we took it for a very long test drive, and it's running about 10 or 15 degrees Fahrenheit cooler. And
it looks like it's self-regulating, whereas it was looking like it was running away. It was now when you parked up and you got no air going through it. After a big run, it seems like it's, you know, it might get up, but it'll bring itself back down, which is fantastic.
And then we're going to pop a bit of this in as well.
See how that goes,
maybe even like a half bottle or a full bottle of this. And hopefully we will see our coolant temperatures drop onto the low side, because especially once we get the AC working in an older thing, it's going to be a little bit under load all the time. We're expecting to see those coolant temperatures go up a little bit, and it's especially old cars, especially like more performance-based old cars, they just had a tendency to run hot all the time.
That's it. So, I mean, I think we've covered everything today. So, thank you, Lachlan.
One thing
I'm missing something.
Sorry.
You're right.
If you are going to use these, we did a full flush. So we got the car up warm to the point where the thermostat was open. Drained the coolant. Replaced it with tap water, standard water. You should use demineralized water. Made sure the thermostat was open again. And then drained it and used a vacuum fill. So while the car was warm, we vacuum filled it. That's just going to make sure that we're a slightly better fill.
Getting in all the crevices.
Exactly. And especially for the type of car that we're working on, the coolant expansion tank is maybe a little bit lower than it should be on the engine. The expansion tank sits under the heater pipes, so there was never a chance that it would bleed the regular way.
Gotcha. So yeah, guys, that is the Penrite 10/10 Race Coolant Inhibitor, and this is the Red Line WaterWetter.
Cool. All right, sure. We'll see you in a month or two.
Call it a day. All right. Thank you. We'll see you guys later.